Hello everybody, and welcome to part 2 of Werner's R&B Cassingle Quiz Show Challenge. We're scanning through some more tapes, looking for some more R&B with mystery guest rappers. The game is the same as last week. I show you a Cassingle from the 1990s, an R&B artist, or possibly a reggae artist or jazz artist, that features a guest rapper on their song. And you have to guess who the guest rapper is before I reveal it. Who will be our first tape? I see it. This is Luciano's single, Who Could It Be? From his album Where's Their Life? Featuring, you'll notice I not only had to black out their name, but their picture from the top right of the cover there. This may be the only example of guest rappers whose photo actually got on the front cover of the Cassingle. This bad boy dropped in 1996 on Island Records. There was a video for it and everything. I have to confess though, even I didn't remember who the guest rappers were until I actually looked at the cover. Can you guess? The Jungle Brothers. Going through my tapes here, we're on box number 2, looking for tape number 2. Here we go. Miss Jones. She's got to have some guest rappers on her singles, right? This might seem like a gimmick. After all, Miss Jones was a part of Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew. In fact, they specifically changed their name to Dougie Fresh and the new Get Fresh crew strictly because of her inclusion. All the other lineup was exactly the same. Nobody came, nobody left. They just added Miss Jones briefly for one album, so they changed their name. So you gotta figure, surely, after all, her solo stuff was often produced by Dougie Fresh, Chill Will, and Barry B. Guest rapper seems pretty obvious, but no, not in this case. The single is Don't Front, 1994 on Stepson Records, and the label's a little bit of a hint. This is a pretty obscure one though, so don't feel bad if you don't get this one, or if you've never even heard of the rapper. The guest rapper is Amazin' Flow. Amazin' Flow was part of an indie 90s New York rap outfit called Mentally Insane. They had a couple 12-inch singles. Amazin' Flow also had at least one solo 12-inch. And Stepson was their label, and also Miss Jones' label, so it made sense that he would be the guest rapper. He's got sort of a dark, grimy, almost an Akinyele kind of flow. On to a third box here. I think we'll go for 10 this time. So possible score of 10 out of 10 you could get. And that should leave us enough easily for volume 3, 2 of this. Let's see. Wait. Here we go. This should be a good one. I'm sure I never would have bought an SWV single if it didn't have some guest rappers on it. So SWV, on their home label of RCA Records, this one actually, as you can see, You're the One remixes. There's 3 remixes. A Puff Daddy remix, a DJ Clark Kent remix, and an All-Star remix. But no, those aren't the guest rappers. That's just the remixes. Who are the guest rappers?
It's a bit of an unlikely collection. On the All-Star remix, there's 3. The Lost Boys, Smooth the Hustler, and Trigger the Gambler of the Next Level Click. Then on the Puff Daddy remix, Busta Rhymes, and finally on Clark Kent's remix, Jay-Z.
I have to admit, I didn't get that one either. I had to look at the credits on the back. I see a couple good ones in this box, so let's stick with it here. Right here at the top. Third World. This is an oldie. This is actually the 80s, 1989. They're sort of a pop reggae group at the time. The song is Forbidden Love on Mercury Polygram Records. This is actually from the 80s, a little bit of a deviation. All the rest of these are from the 90s. It's a little bit further back, cast your mind back. There was a video for this one too, it was pretty big. I was actually quite a big fan of this song at the time. Played it a lot. Do you remember the guest rapper? Daddy-O of Stetsasonic. Alright, one more from this box and then we'll move on. Let's see, what have we got here? Okay. Here's one that's got to have a guest rapper on. No other reason on earth I would have bought this. Badoom, The Truth, Red Lights. The Truth is a female R&B group. I think the only thing they really have done in their career was collaborate with several guest rappers. This single came out in 1996 on Priority Records. Again, the song is called Red Lights. The rapper, someone who was doing a lot of guest spots at the time, Eric Sermon representing the Def Squad. Alright, moving on to another box here for tape number 6, I think. Let's see if we can spot a good one up. Okay, I think I see a good. Here's a pair of them, in fact, right next to each other. Here we have Samantha Fox. She had some pretty big hits back in the day, in the early 90s. Naughty Girls Need Love Too. Something else. This single, Hurt Me, But the Pants Stay On, as delightful as that title is, was not one of those hits. But still a pretty interesting single, if only for who the guest rapper was. It's 1991 on Jive Records. And actually, I inadvertently gave you a hint as to who the guest rapper is in the last video, so cast your mind back and see if you can figure it out. I'll tip my hand a little bit more about the hint. Samantha Fox, of course, is a member of the Full Force family, so naturally the guest rapper is UTFO's own Dr. Ice. And now we have Samuel. Remember Samuel? He was again from that sort of early 90s New Jack Swing R&B era. In fact, he was actually produced by Teddy Riley and the Gang. This was probably his biggest single, So You Like What You See. The guest rapper here is pretty interesting at the time because it actually debuted a comeback of a rapper who'd sort of disappeared from the scene. There's a rapper from a group that had some pretty big hits, or at least one, and then really kind of disappeared completely. I remember back in the days really wondering whatever happened to them. I was a big fan, at least of their hits. Some of their other stuff was a little poppy, but still pretty cool. And this single was the first appearance of him in a few years. Then later on, they appeared on the House Party 2 soundtrack, and then came out with another album with another huge hit, and then some more albums and stuff after that. Produced by Teddy Riley, remember, so you might be able to figure it out even if you don't remember. The guest rapper? I Kill from Rex and Effect. Let's see, any more good ones in this box before we move on? Maybe it's time to shift over. What do we got here? Way on the edges here, right on the sides. Bada bada bada. How about a little modern gospel? We haven't had any of that yet. The Sounds of Blackness. This is their single Spirit on Perspective Records, 1997. Featuring who? A pretty big guest artist at the time, but not a big guest artist for long. Sort of a real one-hit wonder. Who was the guest rapper? Craig Mack. So okay, tape number 10 of Werner's R&B Cassingle Quiz Show Challenge. The final one. Let's see, we've actually had some really hard ones today. I wonder if we can find, I don't want to be a real throw a bone super easy one just to kind of make up for that, but something a little bit more memorable, something a little bit bigger, something more people probably remember. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, okay, here we go. Alright, this is perfect. Not too easy, but one probably a lot of you people remember. 1998, R&B group called 112 came out with this single, Love Me, on Bad Boy Records. And frankly, Bad Boy Records, that's giving you half the answer even if you didn't already know. It's not Puff Daddy, but who was one of their biggest artists at the time? This was a big single for him, big crossover pop radio kind of single. The guest rapper, Mace. So how did you guys do? I actually got probably only about half myself, and of course these are tapes from my own collection that I grew up listening to, but there's a bunch I didn't remember, like the SWV, stuff like that, the Craig Mack. I actually thought it was Q-Tip on the Sounds of Blackness. He must have done another song with them. So you guys might have done even better than me, but it was a set of hard ones, so don't feel bad if you didn't score too high. And stay tuned, we're going to do a part 3. I might do another video in between to sort of break it up and not get too monotonous, but there will definitely be another entry in the series. So till next time, Werner von Wanrod saying peace out.